Welcome back. This week's Journal Star Sportswriters podcast. I'm sports editor Wes Huett, here with Preps Hoops guys Adam Duvall and John Komosa.
Hello, hello. How's it going?
This week we're going to go over some Tuesday action, take a look at the weekend, go over the latest state rankings, assuming we have any games this weekend, I guess we'll go over. Isn't it supposed to snow like 12 feet again this weekend?
And blow like 30 miles an hour and whiteout conditions. And
just like last weekend, were there any games on Saturday?
I don't think every game got postponed last Saturday.
Yeah.
So.
Every game.
Joko and I were texting.
Going back and forth, Duvall sent me a text, and it was like Metamora East Peoria girls was like the one game out there that was a possibility, and then it got canceled. I was like, okay, 0 on the slate. So.
Ugh, shut out. All right, well, last night there were actually some pretty good action last night, considering the Tuesday night. We'll start with the boys. What do you got?
There's 3 small school games that I'll touch on a little bit. The first one, obviously kind of intriguing matchup, I think a lot of people were kind of looking forward to, is the DMAC Eureka game in the heart of Illinois. DMAC edged Eureka 43-35. They improved to 17-3 and 6-0 in the conference, and that was a big game. Levi Shurman had 13 points for them, and I think Jared Kilby added 11. So they had some big threes down the stretch, and that was a big win for them. So Eureka they've dropped 14-6 and 3-3 on the conference now. Okay. So
you mentioned a couple other. There's
another game that kind of grabbed me by surprise a little bit, and they've been improving. Is Peoria Heights? They actually hung pretty close with Farmington. Farmington won that game 51-47.
Okay,
so that was a good game for the Heights. They pretty much battled them the whole way, and Farmington improved to 16-4, and now they're 6-0 in the Prairie Land Conference.
Oh, okay.
So
Heights seems to play a lot of. I mean, they have 12 losses. They seem to play a lot of single-digit games. Yeah,
they do. They were at that Sandberg shootout, watching them play a close game with Galva. They seem like they're right there with teams. So just trying to put it all together here. The last one, it was a non-conference game at Peoria Christian. Peoria Christian beat Broomfield 64-55. They actually ended the game on a 19-2 run. Wow. So that was a really big win for Jason Persinger over there.
Big win.
Peoria Christian improves to 8-9 on the year, and Broomfield's now 11-6. So.
Let's put it on the record. Mark tape on Joko talking about Peoria Christian.
I think that's the.
Do we have anything to say about IVC?
No.
Okay.
How many podcasts we've done now? 3 or 4?
3 for 3.
I mentioned them three
PCS.
times. Yeah.
All right, the girls last night, pretty couple of decent games.
Yeah, Washington and Metamora, they wrapped up the first half of the Middle Illini slate. Washington won 41-35. 34-34 going into overtime, and Olivia Damery went 7 for 8 from the free throw line to seal that one up. That moves Panthers into 5-2 and a big game with Canton, which I'll talk about a little later on. For sole possession of second place is on Friday. Speaking of the Little Giants, Alice Ingersoll was home to a nice win for Jessica Jones and her squad. They beat Peoria High, which I've been pretty high on the Lions, but Blair Jacobus had 16. They've been playing pretty well. I mean, they have 8 losses, but they did go 1-3 at State Farm, which was kind of surprising. They also played Rock Island, who's second in 4A. I was at Richwoods Dunlap, 3A number 1 Knights, reigning state champs.
Right.
They just housed
Dunlap.
Yeah. I mean, Nia Williams, she outscored Dunlap's entire team in the first half.
Oh, man.
The Knights led 43-14. She finished with 21. Cam Taylor, Marquette recruit, ranked POY, had 16.
Good story on Nia in today's Journal Star. You can catch it online as well.
Yeah. Tia Johnson was flirting with a triple-double. She had 10, 9, and 8. Big test for the Knights in the Big 12 when Normal Community visits tomorrow night. So that'll be a good game. And then
you're coming fresh off the Knights, and they're a potential state champion to people, what was your impression of them right now? How are they playing? Like, what's going right for them?
I think the quote that Todd Hersey had was very telling. He said that it's not just 20% on offense when they go down. They have 5 girls who are all playing consistently well right now. Jada McLeod, Cam Taylor, Tiana Johnson, Nia Williams, Natalie Desjardins,
Right.
Who, are a threat no matter what. And then they're going 3-4 deep on the bench.
Wow.
They have a freshman coming off the bench who's getting some nice minutes. So, yeah, I mean, this normal community game will be a nice test for them tomorrow night, but I don't see, Morton, Richwoods, Part 3 looms.
Well, speaking of state ranks, those were released again yesterday, and a little bit of Richwoods and Dunlap, or Richwoods and Morton are now. Well, Richard's still tied for first, right?
Yeah, I don't know about that Kankakee team.
Yeah, I don't know much about them. Unbeaten at 24-0. Eureka remains at number 1 in 2A,
Right.
and then Lewiston dropped 1 from 2 to 3 with their loss to Illini West. Right?
Yeah, 2A loss, which isn't not a bad loss there. Illini Bluffs stayed the same at 8. Outside of our area, but kind of familiar to girls basketball fans, is LaGrange Park, Nazareth, who's 6th in the 3A poll, and I personally think they should be a little bit higher. They were runner-ups to Richwoods last year, and they returned everybody.
Oh wow!
So I mean, that's a team that's 18-1. They haven't played the toughest schedule, but that's a team that you need to look out for sure. And then kind of in our area, so to speak, Western Big Six with Galesburg, Rock Island at 2 and 4A, and they've played a number of our area teams: Limestone, Canton, Peoria High, Richwoods. So
I'm going to slip over to the boys' side state ranks. Not much change there, John.
Not much, just a little bit of just one moving up, one dropping down in the 3A and 1A was Notre Dame went from tied for 5th to 6th in the latest rankings, and then Wethersfield bumped up to 5 in Class 1A. Yeah. The other change was in Class 1A, Elmwood fell out of the rankings after being 10 last week.
Right.
So,
well, speaking of Wethersfield, they're 5, and number 1 is I don't know if any eagle-eyed readers noticed in today's Journal Star. We're going to go ahead and start adding our area teams, our fringe teams, to our rankings. First couple months of the season, we've basically limited our area rankings, what you see with their columns in the paper, to our metro teams, which would be mostly Tri-County, Big 2, Mid-Illini, Mid-State 6, or Mid-State 6, Big 12. Now you'll see Wethersfield joined the boys' ranks. Tomorrow you'll see.
Spoiler alert. Lewistown will be in there. Midwest Central Delvin will be in there.
Yeah, we kind of felt like, these teams are playing a lot of our metros. They're eligible for the all area teams. Let's get them into the mix for the ranks. And the same would apply to the large if a Galesburg or a LaSalle Peru ends up being in the mix, being someone who could be ranked, they could be up there with the bigs.
No love to Galesburg, boys? Choco?
It's called out.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting there. There's some teams right here in this area that are still playing very consistent. So,
did Galesburg beat Morton?
Whoa.
Number 2?
Morton's got a decent win.
Morton's still got that big win over Rock Island.
That's true. That's true. So I had to sweat you a little bit.
Full sweat. All right. Well, let's look ahead a little bit to Friday, Saturday, if there are games. We'll go back to the girls' side. What's going on this weekend, Adam?
It's Canton at Washington to start the second half of the Mid-Illini. Battle for sole possession in second place. Canton's 5-2. Washington's 5-2. Panthers actually won 2 weeks ago to the day by 12. Our tennis POY, Sierra Sonamaker, had 22 points. And I think that's going to be a huge factor for Canton is how they defend the post. They're real guard heavy, full court pressure. I wrote a story about them last week. Cassidy Fawcett, Anna Plummer. Those are seniors. They're guards that get up and guard you and turn you over, and that's going to be the biggest key for them is keeping it kind of a transition game, so to speak, and that'll be interesting to see. But tomorrow's
big game tomorrow.
Big, huge.
We will be there. Adam will be there. We'll have a photographer there.
Big, huge game tomorrow. 5-0 in the Prairie Land, both Brimfield and Lewistown. Brimfield's 18-6. Lewistown is ranked third in 1A, as we said. They're 20-1. It'll be interesting to see again how Lewistown's guards play against Brimfield's bigs. Haley Wallace, Cameron Cuevas for Brimfield, Anna Heffron, Sydney Schaefer for Lewistown. So, and Lewistown has been, fine-tuned machine, close to 70 points a game. Brimfield's actually coming off a 89-77 win over Monmouth Roseville, where there was four girls in double figures. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think there'll be a good atmosphere, good crowd, weather pending, of course.
Right. Yeah, this is one of those spots that maybe if you don't go out, catching a team with Lewiston close to home, close to Peoria here, because obviously they sort of stay west usually. But
right.
This is a nice chance to go out. If you're a general fan of girls hoops, go down and watch Greg Bennett's team.
Yeah,
they always play well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Brimfield's one of those teams that has 6 losses on. But, they lost to, Midwest Central twice. They were at the State Farm Holiday Classic. They lost to Rochester, who was the eventual runner-up of that tournament. So, they play a tough schedule.
Right. All right, on the boys' side, a couple of pretty fun matchup on Friday over there in Lincoln.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this weekend. Hopefully the weather kind of stays at bay. So these are big games. Morton at Lincoln. They're going into that with Lincoln. They're 7th in Class 3A at 13-2. Lincoln. So Neil Alexander's got a really talented group there this year. As usual. But they're one of their standout players. Their forward, 6'10", 220-pound Jeremiah Hamlin. Just he gets in the post and just goes up for dunks pretty much. Double-double, night in, night out. And he's averaging 14 and 7 rebounds. And then they got Caden Froby. He's a junior, averaging 17 a game, so he can light it up from the outside. And as we've seen in years past, Lincoln's just always, spaces the floor really well. They have great sharpshooters. So I think that'll be a really
ball press.
Really, I remember you.
I did a story on it. That was almost a decade ago, and they were well into that. They've been doing that for years.
The girls' team, I saw them play over at Limestone, and they even you'll see that to start the halves.
Oh wow!
So they're into the ball press
I feel like
as well.
Same system, just in the Lincoln program there. But that'll be a tough test for the Potters going there. So
the Potters are interesting. They'll, like you said, they lose a game to Galesburg, but then they go to Rock Island and beat them by 20. They seem like a team that kind of Jekyll and Hyde, but they seem like they get it for bigger games, and this is obviously a big game.
Yeah, and we were talking about it earlier, but despite their 5 losses, it's like of those 5, they're in every game. Right. They've lost in overtime, lost by 2 to Galesburg, like you said. One of the other games that's kind of intriguing.
Yeah, big old city matchup, right?
I'll be at Peoria High at the Kitchen for the Notre Dame game. And Peoria High going into that game 6-13, 2-2. Notre Dame's 13-4, 2-2. But Peoria High won that first meeting at their place when they played Notre Dame. I think Deion Hogan got a steal in the last couple seconds and pushed it in transition, and they won it at the buzzer. Yeah. I think it was 38-36. So I'm sure Notre Dame will want to come out and avenge that loss. I'm looking forward to that game. And Peoria High's coming off a big win against Richwood, so they're riding that momentum.
Yeah, Peoria High is one of those teams that when they get into the seeding meeting, they're not going to have much to say. But they're not a team I'd want to play.
No,
being in a playing game or after
4A. They're 4A. Postseason team.
But they got normal community in 4A, and they only lost to them by 4 or 5, so they can hang with pretty much anybody.
All right, well. We're going to end our podcast here with another little fun game. We did one last week, this and that. We're going to do a little word association. I'm going to give you a team. I just want a one-word answer to what first thing that comes to mind about the team.
Okay.
Nothing too hard.
Okay.
You can pass, I guess, if it.
Yeah.
We don't want to. But we'll start with the girls. Washington. What's your first thing?
Rising.
Rising. Hey, step up. Manual, boys. Joko.
I'd say
Give me 2 words. Give me a phrase.
they're hard-nosed.
Hard
team.
nose. Nice. Nice. All right. So you'll be seeing them tomorrow, Dewey? Lewiston.
Disciplined.
Discipline. Nice. All right. And then we talked about the entry into your ranks for the first time, area team, Weathersfield.
Consistent.
Consistent. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you have it. All of us have collars on too. All looking
do.
pretty sharp.
Getting ready for the snowstorm.
Yeah, we just zip it right up, and head right out into the snow. Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up for this week. Thank you for listening, watching. For Adam Duvall and John Komosa, this is sports editor Wes Huett saying goodbye for now.